Nothing is worse than having a woman disrespect you. You feel like you're not a man anymore, and you physically feel her love and affection for you fading away. I've been there. And once she loses that respect, trust me, there's basically no point.
Have you ever noticed how some men command respect wherever they go, while others seem to attract disrespect like a magnet? The difference isn't luck or genetics. It's understanding a fundamental truth about human nature that most men never learn. When someone disrespects you, they're making a calculated bet. They're betting you'll still be there tomorrow, still answering their calls, still orbiting their life like nothing happened. They assume you're too attached, too invested, too afraid of losing them to actually walk away. But what happens when that bet backfires spectacularly? What happens when a man who truly knows his worth decides he's had enough? Today I'm going to share 5 silent moves that create genuine regret in anyone who dares to disrespect you. These aren't games or manipulation tactics. These are principles rooted in ancient Stoic philosophy that have been tested by centuries of human experience. The first move is the most powerful because it requires zero explanation, zero drama, and zero warning. You simply disappear from their world so completely that they're left wondering what just happened. Most men get this completely wrong because they announce their departure like they're reading a dramatic monologue. They give speeches about respect, make threats about not coming back, or worse, they negotiate their boundaries like they're asking for permission to have standards. But when you truly understand your value, you don't need to explain it to anyone. You simply remove access to yourself without fanfare. No goodbye text, no final confrontation, no closure conversation. You just stop being available. This hits differently because up until that moment, they've built their behavior on one fundamental assumption, that no matter what they say or do, you'll still be there.
The reason why women regret losing a good man is because she realizes that she was actually the problem, but her immaturity blinded her from actually seeing that and loving him correctly.
When you shatter that assumption without warning, something profound happens in their psychology. They start retracing every conversation, every interaction, scanning through their memory like a detective trying to pinpoint the exact moment you shifted from being always available to being completely gone. This confusion becomes the foundation of their regret because they realize they've lost something they took for granted. The key is total disconnection, not partial withdrawal, where you leave one channel of communication open just in case. That's not strength. That's weakness disguised as strategy. Real power means removing their number, blocking them on social media, refusing to acknowledge them in group settings. Every breadcrumb you leave is a thread they can pull to keep you in their orbit. Here's where most men sabotage themselves. They cut off access but then sit in their room thinking about the person who disrespected them. That's not cutting them off. That's giving them free rent in your mind. The moment you remove someone from your life, you need to fill that space immediately with pursuits that build you. Physical training, skill development, business growth, expanding your social circle. The second move amplifies the first one exponentially. While they expect you to waste time thinking about them, you do something that catches them completely off guard. You level up quietly, not posting every gym session on social media or broadcasting your progress like you're trying to get their attention. You upgrade yourself in silence, without interference, without them knowing what you're building. This transformation needs to be comprehensive. Your health, your finances, your mindset, your appearance, your social presence. When someone only improves one area, it can be dismissed as temporary. But when they see a complete overhaul, when the person who once reacted to their disrespect is now clearly operating at a higher level, Surrounded by people who value them, it becomes impossible to ignore. The beauty of this approach is that you're not doing it to make them regret anything. You're doing it because you've accepted that your best response to disrespect is living in such a way that their opinion becomes irrelevant. And ironically, that's exactly what makes them notice. People are most curious about what they can't control. The third move requires tremendous self-discipline because it goes against every instinct you have when someone wrongs you.
Life is so fucking strange. I mean, you show up with nothing. You spend your whole life chasing everything, only to, yet again,
You stop explaining yourself entirely. Every time you justify your actions, your choices, or your boundaries to someone who's already shown they don't respect you, you're not clarifying anything. You're negotiating your worth. When you cut someone off and they ask why you stopped calling, why you didn't respond, why you're distant, you don't write them an essay about their behavior. You simply say something like, "I've been focused on my own path," and leave it there. A person who knows their direction doesn't need approval from someone who questioned their value. This is powerful because it keeps you emotionally detached from their opinion. You're no longer in the loop where their reaction matters more than your direction. When you live like that consistently, you stop chasing understanding from people who never truly valued your presence in the first place. The fourth move is strategic and often overlooked. You redirect your energy into a better circle. Walking away from disrespect is only step one. If you walk away and step into an empty life with the same influences and environment, you haven't actually moved forward. You've just created space for similar problems to emerge. Your circle shapes your identity more than your willpower ever will. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who think small or tolerate mediocrity, their influence will eventually drag you back down. The solution is deliberately placing yourself in environments that force growth, where your current excuses sound ridiculous and your comfort zone is constantly challenged. When you operate like this, people from your past can feel the shift.
Treating her wrong is all fun and games until she's uninterested, unreachable, and unavailable. Like, y'all think y'all can put a good woman on emotional layaway by putting down a love bomb and deposit while you put her on hold so you can keep shopping around.
They see you're no longer orbiting the same conversations and patterns. For someone who once had access to you, this is devastating because they realize they didn't just lose you to solitude, they lost you to a reality they can't even enter. The fifth and final move is perhaps the most difficult to master, but also the most devastating when executed properly. You show zero emotional recoil. When someone disrespects you, especially someone who once acted like you mattered to them, every instinct tells you to show your hurt, to let them see the damage they caused. But showing that emotional spike doesn't make them respect you more. It makes them feel powerful. It confirms they still control how you feel. In their mind, if they can still trigger your emotions, they still own a piece of you. The most devastating thing you can do is remain completely unmoved. This isn't about pretending you don't care when you do. It's about genuinely refusing to give someone the satisfaction of seeing they can manipulate your emotions like puppet strings. When you refuse to break character, when you don't raise your voice or throw back insults, you send a message that cuts deeper than any argument. You have no control here. For someone who thought they could disrespect you and still get emotional reactions, this realization is crushing. They understand that in your mind, they no longer exist as someone whose opinion can influence you. This kind of exit is unforgettable because there's nothing for them to work with, nothing to twist or respond to. These 5 moves create a compound effect. When someone realizes they can't reach you, can't predict your next move, can't explain your behavior, can't access your world, and can't even get an emotional reaction from you,
I am not beautiful. I am not perfect. I am not intelligent. That's maybe true, but I am not fake.
they're forced to confront a reality they weren't prepared for. They didn't just lose access to you, they lost the ability to affect you entirely. The regret they experience isn't just about losing you as a person. It's about recognizing they completely misjudged your character and let go of someone who was always destined to rise above their limited perspective. And by the time this realization hits, you're so far beyond their reach that even if they wanted to fix things, the gap has become insurmountable. Remember, life will keep presenting you with the same disrespect until you decide you've had enough. Until you draw boundaries so clear they can't be crossed. The moment you truly understand that you don't need anyone's permission to have standards, everything changes. You stop reacting to disrespect and start building a life where respect is simply the baseline expectation.